everybody, and welcome to another edition of Pomona Southside Historical Society. Now, I talk to individuals out in the street and stuff, and history mostly, and they ask me, how do you look at history yourself, Ren? So I give them I talk to them about how I look at history as a book. Well, it is a book. You're going to find history in a book written and stuff. But, just recently, unfortunately, we have an historical building, the Masonic Lodge, downtown. And I don't know if you've seen my video or not, but a few years back, I was able to go inside and take pictures and video of what this lodge looked like inside. Very nice. Architect, period of the time, stained glass windows, pillars. It was really nice. I mean, it was a diamond. We had a diamond, there in downtown Pomona. Now, the way I look at it, the way I talk to people about buildings like the Masonic Lodge is like I refer to as like a book. Yeah, downtown Pomona, has quite a few good-looking books. But I'm going to use this book, is just kind of a reference to the Masonic Lodge. Now, the title of it, War and Peace, has nothing to do with what I want to talk about, but I just want to talk about, I'm just going to use this book as a prop. Okay? Now, just pretend for a second that this is the Masonic Lodge. Okay? It's a beautiful book cover, right? Look at that. Yeah? Nice gold lettering. Look at that. Great shape for as old as it is. Well, this is 1859. Great shape. People taking care of it. And all that good stuff. It was like I said, it was a diamond in Pomona that we had. Now, people go inside this Masonic Lodge and check out what it looked like inside. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now, if we don't take care of our history, beautiful books are not going to look beautiful anymore. Well, of course, they'll look beautiful on the outside, but when you got clowns like John Pena, who goes around and purchases these buildings and guts them, then all we got left is just the book cover. Because you see, once you gut a building, I can understand if it's a packing house plant, not really much in there, it was just nothing but open space. But when you got a place like the Masonic Lodge, beautiful inside, a lot of history in this building. But once you go inside and start ripping things out, you're going to end up with something like this. Nothing. Just a shell of a book. No history, no nothing. You can't go in there and feel the pages, read the pages. Nada. You know why? Because people like John Pena go in there and rip the guts out of our historical buildings, so future generations can't go in there and enjoy what we enjoyed in this century. Now, they try to get Pena before when he sold those letters from the garage over here on Main Street. But nobody did anything to him. Beautiful book, isn't it? But what's a beautiful book if you can't read it and some clown named John Pena goes in there and rips them out? Now we just got a shell of a book with no info in it. Because people like Pena go in there and destroy our history. Now, how long are we going to allow this clown to go into our historic buildings and rip them out? It's just like, for instance, the guy that's doing the YMCA. I applaud him. Right on. Great. Good idea. Except for one thing. The Pomona Historical Society is tough on protecting our living history. Now, there was a pine tree that sat in front of the YMCA that was there since the Palomars Hotel days. So then one day I went by there, and there was no more tree. So I called him up and asked him, what'd you do with the tree? Well, first he said, we had no use for it. I told him it was a historical tree. So, oh, well, it had a disease, so we had to cut it down. I said, well, send me the paperwork and prove to me that it had a disease. Never heard anything from him. And he didn't even mention that he had permission from the city or the historical society to let him know what he was doing. He just probably just got a tree trimming service down there, cut down one day, and out they went. Tree was gone. There was nothing they could do. You know, I'm trying to hold my tongue here. But you see, this is what people like me, who really love their history here in Pomona, are up against. The city of Pomona didn't do anything about painting, selling those, garage leathers there, Clark Brothers garage leathers. Nah. The Historical Society didn't do nothing about it. If it wasn't for me riding my bike downtown like I normally do, I wouldn't have seen that son of a bitch down there pulling the letters down. I took pictures showing him taking the letters down, and then I found them trying to sell them on the internet. They offered Mickey Galvin, whatever her name is, the letter, but she didn't want them. What's up with that? See, we got a bunch of so-and-sos who supposedly be taking care of our historical buildings. Boy, I'm up in arms, man, I swear, especially with this last one, with the beautiful book. Looks great, but now when you look inside, there ain't jack inside. You know why? Because they allow clowns like this Pena to go in there and rip our history apart just so he can stick some lofts and probably a 7-Eleven inside. Now, is that what we want for our history in Pomona? If we keep this up, we ain't going to have any historical buildings to look at because they're going to be gutted inside. Like I said, I can understand the packing plant, the warehouse, because they're just like wide open spaces. But when you take something like the Masonic Lodge and just rip everything out, just so, it doesn't make any sense. The guy doesn't care about our history, but there's people like the DPOA who continue to support this clown. I know, he's kind of like a bad boy or a substitute for the DPOA, or he sits off to the side, And then I was telling this one guy who I had a lot of respect for, tells me, well, he had dealings with John when he was in Pasadena, but he said, well, I guess he got kicked out of Pasadena for the crap he was pulling. But he said, oh, John learned his lesson. Well, hell, he came to Pomona, and I told him it didn't look like he had learned his lesson, now did he? Because now he comes to Pomona, and he starts ripping and gutting our historical buildings. I don't know what it's going to take for the city of Pomona or the Pomona Historical Society. Maybe we got to give them a kick in the ass to open up their eyes. But all they want to do is, gimme, gimme. Come on, gimme, gimme. I want, come on, give me money, give me money. And then, they didn't want to restore the stables. They just wanted that insurance money. I wouldn't trust them with that insurance money. Who knows where it's going to head to? Oh, yeah, we're going to restore some more buildings, yeah. But everything they restore is over in their neighborhood. You don't see anything getting restored over here on the Southside. Like, for instance, we got Walter Knott's house. A house that he built with his own hands over here on 4th Street. Do they care? Hell no. But when it comes to Timmy from Lassie fame house over there by Kingsley Elementary School, oh hell, they brought out the marching bands and all that other crap because it's in their neighborhood. I'm doing this all by myself. I don't see anybody else raising Cain about how the Historical Society is going about taking care of our buildings, our historical buildings. And especially somebody who's supposed to be responsible as the DPOA, and having John Pena on their board or doing dealings with that clown. He's a destroyer of history. I've proven that. And he proved it in the past. I'm sure that's probably why he got kicked out of Pasadena, because he's taking some of these buildings and tearing them apart, historical buildings. So, you know, we're not going to have any history left with John Pena running around, or any kind of individuals like that. If you truly, truly enjoy viewing and going, walking by and looking at our historical buildings, it's time to stand up and say no more. Pomona Historical Society, start standing up to these clowns. DPOA, get rid of John Pena. He's bad news. He's already made me mad at you, because I found out that you're still supporting this clown by having you on like a substitute board member or something. Maybe he's a janitor in the DPOA. I don't know, but when I found out you still dealing with John Pena, I ain't had nothing to do with you people, because he's a destroyer of history. So, City of Pomona and Mayor Sandoval, if you have any respect for any of our buildings, our history, you get off your butt and find out what's going on with this Pomona Historical Society. And doesn't City of Pomona have this historical thing, committee or whatever? Where are you? When you brought up John Pena, in front of your board, why didn't you find this guy? Or are you in cahoots with John Pena? Maybe somebody's getting some kickbacks from this guy for letting him do what he's doing. Everybody's turning a blind eye. Look the other way. Oh, look at that bird. Oh, well, look over here. Well, John Pena's got his bulldozers and just tearing buildings down. Look, people, City of Pomona, I'm not going to be here much longer, you know. I'm getting up in my years. So somebody's got to get down and start getting serious about not letting, again, these clowns get a hold of our historical buildings and start ripping them apart for their own personal purpose reasons so they can make a buck. Why couldn't he just left the historic or the Masonic Lodge just the way it was and use it for community meetings? They had an auditorium in the back. You know, clubs could have used it. They could have rented out the rooms. You know, I knew a friend of mine who became, I call him the Grand Poobah. I forgot the name of the title of the headmaster of the Masonics, but he became the headmaster. And I went to the ceremonies to check it out. And what a beautiful little place they have there to do these ceremonies. But no more. It's all gone. He ripped everything out from the front door all the way to the back door. Gone. No more. So anyway, you know, I don't know how much I'm going to keep this up, because to me, I'm just wasting my time, because nobody cares about our history. I say, I'm the only one coming out here on these videos and pointing these things out. You think the society's going to do that? Hell no. They're not going to, say, oh yeah, we screwed up here, we should have done that. Yeah, we should have stood up and said, no, you're not tearing down that historical Pomona Creamery that Western University said, oops, it accidentally fell apart because of all the vibrations from all the heavy equipment and stuff. No. You see, we can't fall for that anymore. They got to come up with some better, reasons for what they do. Because if you don't start holding them responsible, our history is just going to be gone. And the only history that's going to be seen anymore is the history that's going to be in their neighborhoods. And that's where they want to use that money for, so they can work on history in their neighborhoods, not the history down here in Pomona. We got history that they can point out, like the Brickyards, how Ralph Welch Park came about, where it was a house there at one time, a farm. They could explain that history. There's so much history down here on the Southside that makes him look silly, because this is where Pomona started. Here, Southside Pomona farms. Hey, there were nothing but orange groves and walnut fields up on the north side till they started building them homes up there at Lincoln Park. So, you see, Pomona history is not being representative at all. You're only getting half the story, and that's the half they want to tell you. And you ever notice how it's always the same bunch of family members or people that run the historical society? Yeah, because you see, they don't want to break code. See, if they get somebody going there and start talking about, like, the Southside and the history over there, they're going to start opening people's eyes up. You know, oh, wow, I didn't know that. You know, and like I pointed out in my videos, we have the orange grove farm that we have here on Mission. The house is still there, and some of the oranges trees are still there. They don't talk about the history of orange groves down here, you know, or the farms. We still have farmhouses down here, but now they're surrounded by apartment buildings and new houses and stuff like that. They don't talk about the history of the farming history down here, do they? No, they just talk about what they want to talk about. Which, you know, it's part of Pomona's history. You know, Phillips Ranch and all that. And then we imported a house from some other city over here that they're spending money on. I mean, they should have left that for the other city to spend money on. Why don't we spend money on a house that, you know, I don't get their thinking, you know. I just don't get their thinking. I always thought it was to preserve history, not only preserve what you want and ignore the rest of it. Oh, we don't have the funds. You don't need funds to point things out on a video to let people know if it's history or not. Like Walter Knott's house, like I just said. You could point that out, but you won't. Because all you want to do is point things out over on the north side. Pomona didn't start on the north side. You understand? It started here, downtown Pomona. Now, like I said, getting back to this book, we can't continue to start ripping out pages, the insides of our historical buildings, because all we're going to do is have a shell of what once was. Our future generations won't be able to go inside this book and look and touch and be amazed by what the forefathers have done. You know, so that's all gone. We'll never see that again. All we got is just a shell of a book. It's something that Pomona's history that once was. So, if we don't do anything about it now, it's just going to end up like this book. And the only ones we're going to blame is you and ourselves, and especially the Pomona Historical Society. Can't keep going on like this, folks. Like I said, I'm not going to be around forever. And I hope there's somebody like me who takes Pomona history as seriously as I do. I wish I could be here forever. But I can't. And I can't continue to do this forever on my own. You know, it's just, it's worth it to me, but, you know, look, I'm 25 years old. Look at all the gray hair. I'm just a kid. Worrying about the history of Pomona. But, you know, like I said, I talk about buildings because I grew up with them. You know, like their own personal friends of mine. Because one way or another, those buildings and I were kind of evolved. You know, like for instance, the Creamery building that was once on 2nd Street. That was kind of like a meeting place for us kids. If we were going to the Fox, go watch a movie, we'd all meet there and then go on to the Fox. Or just clown around downtown Pomona, as kids usually do back then. Play around the water fountains on hot summer days and get chased down. But, you know, like I said, it's going to be sad if we don't stop it now. I've been trying to stop it. I've been trying to open people's minds up about what's taking place with our history. And, you know, and every chance I get, and if they are doing any kind of work, I'll walk in and start taking pictures and give you a heads up. But in the future, if we are to build any more buildings in Pomona, let's make them something more appealing to look at, comfortable, hometown feeling, something that might look back, you know, period of time back in the 1930s or older type looking buildings. Glass and steel just don't cut it. You know, I'm kind of glad they didn't build that theater over here, that parking lot, because the way it looked like, it was going to look like, was not going to be stainless steel and glass. And just like that tall bunker, that cement building, that's what I call the insurance building, whatever it is. That just like don't fit in at all. You know, when they were building it, I walked inside. I took the stairs all the way up and started looking around. I was pretending to be like one of the workers. You know, I was shaking my head going, man, it's just like... And let me tell you a story, too, when I was up there on that. You know how they, on the very top, you could walk out and they have that little balcony or whatever it is. I was on the Southside of the building. So there was a door, you know. So I thought, open the door, you know, I walk out and a little balcony rail like, you know, I was looking around. All of a sudden I heard a door slam. And that door slammed in a lock behind me, in a lock. So I was trapped on that little ledge there for a little while until I saw a worker come walking into the building. And I yelled down at him, hey, can you come up, open the door? I got locked out. So he came up. He goes, yeah. He opened the door. He goes, yeah, somebody should put something there so the door wouldn't shut on anybody. I go, yeah. So I just kind of wandered down the stairs, made my way out. But, yeah, that thing is just like, that just stood out. I didn't agree with that. They should have just left the parking lot there, you know. And you know what? Right across the street from now, 4th and Main Street, used to be a church there, too. On the corner? Yeah, they tore that down and put a parking lot. But I could go on forever what used to be and what this Pomona Historical Society and everything was that allowed to happen, just like what's going on with the Masonic Lodge, what happened to that. And like I said before, it's going to happen again. If we don't stand up and say, hey, no more. Enough is enough. Stop it. Because we want our future generations coming and say, hey, this is our beautiful historic buildings that we're able to keep and stop from being destroyed. So many buildings were torn down for parking lots and stuff, for this Pomona Mall, which failed, you know, big time. You know, jeez, what a shame! What a shame. Excuse me. But I hope when you view this video that you will join me in telling this historical society to stop it. And with the city of Pomona, put a stop to this insane madness about letting these individuals go in there and start ripping and gutting out their historical buildings. Geez, it's just a shame. Like I said, I've been doing this on my own, you know, from day one. It seems like I'm just doing it on deaf ears. It's a shame. You know, like I said, I'm just getting tired of coming out here and explaining time after time that if we don't do something, more buildings are going to get destroyed. That's what took place with the Masonic Lodge. I'm going to put that video up again of that Masonic Lodge. And in this video I'm going to include, I was able, you know, with the Masonic Lodge, they had the front doors open. And so I went in there real quick because I knew they probably wouldn't let me go in. And I took some pictures. Front door all the way to the back. You see it all the way through. No more walls. They just gutted it out. I took a couple pictures, and I seen some guy come walking up, and I asked him, "Hey, mind if I come in and take any pictures?" No. So I knew right off the bat they wouldn't let me. And then when I found out it was old John Buñatas Pina, boy, that explained everything. I just I can't see how the DPOA could do any dealings with this clown. I mean, you deal with this guy, and you're just right alongside him. It's just like if you went in and robbed a bank, even though you were driving a getaway car and somebody got hurt or killed, you're just as much as responsible for what took place because you do dealings with this clown. So, I'm sorry, but I lost respect for DPOA, Can I say the historical part, the guy, you ain't helping Pomona's historical buildings here or anything, it's but anyway, okay, I'm going to get off this soapbox, and I just had to get this out. I just had to explain about how I look at buildings, and how great they look in the inside, and how important it is to keep this book information inside instead of just sitting and just looking at a nice book cover when we have individuals like going there and gutting it and taking the pictures out. Now we can't read or see what this building was all about. And I'm glad I went and made that video because now, at least we have that to look at, but as far as the building goes, case closed, it's gone, no more. It's just a shell of what once was. Okay. And like always, everybody, you take care, and you take care of those ones you love. Thank you. Thank you very much.